we are kicking off a new Space Age series. We do it a lot of Death Wards around here, a lot of marathons. We're going to do a very large marathon this time, and what happens in a marathon? You go to a lot of places. So yeah, there are going to be a lot of places for us to visit. Where's the preview button? The preview button is down here. We've got basically I installed a whole pile of extra mod planets that we can go and play through. We've bumped the frequency, we've bumped the size, we've bumped the richness. We've got a 60 times tech multiplier. Let's get rid of the preview and get a new seed and jump into it and talk about some of the other things we're going to do in the kind of normal startup phase. What an awful iron patch. Oh well, never mind. Things you get when you're playing random seeds. Yeah. So we are doing a... These are not the rocks I wanted. I guess this is the rock I wanted. We are doing a 60 times marathon multiplier. This is not the largest multiplier people have ever done. I've seen people do 1,000 times a multiplier, so why are we doing this instead of that? Well, the first answer is because they've already done it. Those series are pretty cool. You can just go and watch them. They already exist. And secondly, also because I have a personal soft spot for also bringing the beta settings slightly more in line with default standard, with default settings, even with a marathon. We are still going to have to deal with this is such a terrible iron. I guess we've got these other two irons. Oh well, things we'll just deal with, I guess. Yeah, we're still going to have to deal with biters. We are also going to have to take them reasonably seriously, but we have pulled down the evolution for both pollution and advancement. So one of the things about 1,000 times marathon multiplier, and I guess this is also one of my comments about things like the 600% maps that content creators like Michael Hendricks do great work with, is they do kind of end up a little bit the same because there are so few options that you have that are viable. You pretty much got to go landmines, you might have to do a whole lot of pipe or wall spawn blocking stuff, you got to go flamethrowers, you go to Vulcanus as quickly as you can because it's like the most reliable way to get the scale of resources you need to do 1,000 times tech multiplier. Whereas when we're only doing 60 and we're bumping the patches, in theory we're bumping the patches, these patches are kind of terrible, we will still have all of the options on the table to make a lot more interesting strategic decisions. We will have the choices to do the things that we want, which I like. And then, yeah, also marathons, generally as a concept, I like quite a lot for a variety of reasons. We're going to have a whole collection of new problems to solve, and not just from a ton of extra mods adding new planets and stuff like that. We're going to have to worry about belt capacity, we're going to have to secure more patches, we're going to have to find more iron very quickly. Like this oil here, that's great, but what is that richness? 2,600 richness, okay, fine, that's real nice, except that it's going to be a long time before we can do anything with oil, because we have, a 60 times tick multiplier to push through. So we're also going to smack out a whole ton of these burner miners, because it's gonna be a while before we get the electric stuff up. But also other things I like about the high technology multiplier runs is that you've got a lot more opportunity to use every sort of tool that goes past in a way that you might not in a speed run. Like, you often skip armor levels, even casually. We might go directly from modular armor to... what do I now have? Oh, because we stopped crafting them. So yeah, we might go directly from modular armor to power armor Mark II. I think in my other Space Age run, we went directly from power armor to mech armor. And when you've got a much larger tech multiplier, you've got more time to enjoy each particular set of tools you're working with, which I think is an upside. And then we've also got the opportunity to throw in a couple of high efficiency things that you usually just don't have the APM to deal with in a speed run. Well, I should probably clarify that it's also kind of backwards. It's more that it's just there are efficiencies that aren't worth doing in a speed run that only takes 5 hours, but there's some upgrade planner tricks and some quality tricks and some nice stuff like that that we can also get into much later down the road when we've got all of these guys in play. We have 35 coal. We're going to get some of this down, and yeah, what other notes did I have? Yeah, I think those were basically the things that I wanted to say in the setup for why we're doing this with the size of... Oh yeah, we specifically said we needed coal at this point, didn't we? Let's go this way. Derp, derp, derp. Cool, great. Enjoyed that a whole lot. Give me some of this back so we can set some of these guys off. Cool, already doing that super well. So yeah, so it's going to be a mess. Nice things about big technology multipliers is we kind of don't need to worry about belt delay, and also don't need to worry that much about awful spaghetti, because the belt delay doesn't matter so much, because we're just... like, everything's going to take so much longer anyway, so no big deal. We also have futzed with the spoilage a bit. We've also, yeah, we've messed around with pollution dispersion. Not that way, this way. Need more coal. Yeah, we've messed around with pollution dispersion and also the attack modifier. We are still going to be advancing through 6 more? Let's have 3 here, and then we're going to need... I don't know, a bunch more, whatever. Let's go and grab some more rocks while we have this bit of time. Yeah, so we are going to be slightly... I think it's going to end up somewhat worse for the evolution scaling than the Death World, but also whatever. We are fine with that. Should we... We've got 4 of these guys. Let's get some copper mining running first. One of these guys here, and then we can start these guys here. And it really is time to go and get more stone, isn't it? To the point that we've actually run out of furnaces. Was there more? Yeah, there was more stone down here. Yeah, so we've messed around with spoilage a bit. We've messed around with the asteroid spawning rate. Because I want to set up that it's definitely going to be marathon, but we're also going to make sure that... actually, let's get... Yeah, sure, whatever. We're going to make sure that we still have a lot of options on the table. All of the various tools that we could use will probably still find a place somewhere in the run. Like, if you're doing 1,000 times a marathon, you often just straight up never bother using the defender robots or combat robots, because the amount of research you need to do to unlock them is just prohibitive, and at that point the biters are so far ahead of you that it kind of doesn't matter. 4, I think we wanted 6 of each of those. Sure, why not? Let's grab this coal rock while we're here. Let's continue to complain about the iron. This is super unfortunate. Never mind. Punch all of those into the queue. Yeah, so we've got a whole bunch of more intermediates. We are going to have to do... We're going to have to solve the normal sorts of marathon problems of, hey, let's figure out how to get huge numbers of, like, labs and everything else going like that as well. But also we have a couple of new problems to solve as well, because we've got new mod planners that we've never looked at before, which is very exciting. Those are not the correct dudes. We failed to queue the correct thing. Can we have... Yeah, we're just going to get a bunch of these, a bunch more of these on coal mining. We are going to need the coal mining. Yeah, and then I guess we're going to have more of these guys somewhere else. Sure, whatever. Let's just get everything fueled and then worry about that else the rest of the time. Okay. Because I think we do probably want a decent amount of copper. Yeah, this is just also just terrible, isn't it? Oh, well, never mind. Here is a position where we can start these burner miners. Let's start crafting a lab, because that's got to happen at some time. Okay. Yeah, and then we still continue to want more burner miners, because a 60 times multiplier is going to be a thing we're going to have to deal with. This flashing is still going to continue because we have to get the lab. Oh, there's the lab. So the lab is now built. We can get 10 packs in the queue. We have kind of enough stuff. This coal here is pretty well placed with respect to the lake, I guess. Let's put the power plant over here and grab this rock, I guess. Yeah, we're still going to be going automation. We did get a... here are all the rocks that I want. We did get a map that has quite a few trees on it, so we might not... I mean, we might be able to expand for quite a bit before we have to really worry about dealing with biter stuff, but I think the settings we've got means that we'll be able to do a reasonably normal, like, we'll be pushed to get to turrets before biters start arriving if we just expand and do things at crazy rates, which we plan to, but also it's not the 1,000 times multiplier of, I guess we're doing a lot of fish and shotgun combat to get the second little iron patch we need to get everything online. Yeah, push those guys in the queue, figure out where... Yeah, let's put this here. We don't need this many of these things, but we're going to need so many resources to do the rest of this that, you know what, also, let's just get this guy online so we can connect up the rest of where these power poles will go. You've got 4. Is there any more stone in here? Maybe, but I don't really... Oh, it's over there. And then there's also these coal rocks. Okay, nice. Let's get a second lab up. Keeping the handcrafting queue filled is, I guess, an important thing, not a super important thing. Like, we are probably going to get this finished in significantly less time than it takes to do, yeah, less than 60 times the, like, a speed run pace, because as well as the execution, we have basically 60 times the APM if we're thinking about scaling everything up like that to make all our stuff work. Yeah, let's go directly through this coal patch because we will be pushing... because we be putting miners on that later. I'm aware we don't have the lab. I also just wanted to get back and refill all of this stuff because it was kind of unhappy. I think we still want... Yeah, we still want burner miners in a couple of places, but at least we've got the tech going, and we've got a pile of resources that we will be able to turn into a bunch of... Yeah, we're going to have, I guess, a lab over here somewhere. We can worry about that later. Yeah, a bunch of materials to immediately turn into assemblers as soon as automation pops. So let's not worry about having any more gears. Let's just get 6 of those. I think that was 6. Let's just make sure all these guys are topped off nicely. Were you? You were not. We could not reach. That's all fine. Okay. Yeah, get a couple more labs, and... Oh, I was trying to run into the wreck. That was why that wasn't working. Yeah, it might look like we have a whole lot of resources. We don't really have a whole lot of resources in the scale of the sorts of things we need to do to get 60 times... I kind of don't want that. I kind of want a couple labs, but a couple more assemblers. Yeah, we don't have all that many resources on the scale of things we need to do to unlock the, you know, 1,500 science from burner miners in order to unlock the electric miners. All of these resources are going to disappear pretty quickly. And I think I'd counted out some number of these 3. I had not really counted out those, but I wanted more on coal as well. And then I think we also want some on stone, because we are approaching a point where... Yeah, where we've got a couple of these guys left, but I don't really want to be punching rocks myself to get more stone, which means... And we've also got enough iron at this point that I think we just go straight to iron boxes, and that's going to be fine. And yeah, just continue to have a pretty normal collection of problems. You guys can give me all the stuff. Let's get, yeah, another 10 labs, because why not? You guys are all still going. We did do a big initial power plant if we can start, like, we're going to start necessarily building quite a large number of labs in a kind of messy way. We're going to spaghetti everything else, which is one of the reasons why I like these patch settings, because we're going to have to worry about where all the patches are, but we don't have an any % number of patches, so we're going to have to worry about where all that stuff goes. And I think if we can put some... Yeah, let's... do we have enough power poles to get all of that stuff through? Are we just going to... Yeah, I think we're just going to move all of this stuff at this point. We have got these initial intermediates out. Hopefully I've got a couple more of these, and then let's go to... we're getting 13, 14, 15, 16... A couple more labs. We're not making gears or coils anymore, which is nice. Oh, there's a random piece of iron in here. That's going to be a bit of a pain. Never mind. Also, we should be doing this vertically if we didn't want to immediately mixed mine all this stuff, but also whatever. And then we are going to think about an electric... Actually, I think we wanted to do the electric thing. A first smelting line to the right, maybe? Mostly I'm trying to figure out where this kind of first set of, and we are going to want a lot of both red science and then also, you know, a little intermediates thing, and then some gears coming off the patch. And I have realized now that we've not actually manufactured inserters. I think we're just going to drop those in the queue as well and not worry about it. There's enough other stuff going on that it's not really a concern. We're still, you know, we're manufacturing the science, that's fine. We're not necessarily progressing the drills tech, but whatever. And yeah, give me all these guys. So yeah, I have a little bit of a plan of what I want to do for the planet order. But also, some of the planet mods introduce dependencies to the order in which we can visit our planets, which will make all of that slightly non-trivial, in a way that's hopefully pretty interesting. I think we go down here, we go more gears, because we're going back to wanting intermediates again. I think I've put some of those in a bad place. We're going to have to move pretty quickly, but whatever. And the inserters are starting to come out of the queue, which is nice. Means we can actually start moving through this research. Give me all of this stuff. Keep these guys mostly going. I don't think we have enough on the copper. I think we can squeeze in another... let's get the gears before we do that. I think we can squeeze in another 4 on the copper. And then, yeah, we're just going to get... yeah, I dislike how I have arranged these power poles versus the labs and whatnot. Yeah, oh well. Yeah, feed all of this stuff. Give me these back. We're going to want another lab, another assembler. Did we get this? Have we given... Oh, we didn't even feed these things. Very silly. Was not a successful feeding of stuff. Yeah, and then we're going to want to give this a belt pretty quickly, because hand feeding all of this stuff... I mean, we've got it online, which is nice, but we've got kind of enough materials that... Yeah, give me some more of these. Give me a bunch more inserters. It's probably not time. We probably don't need to refuel the power grid yet, do we? It's probably not a big deal, but also I'm going to feel pretty bad if it dies. Also, we don't have the electric mining yet, so we're not really using the power grid. This is going to... Yeah, we should have maybe done all of those up the other way. Are we going to be dealing with that for a while? We might. Okay. We've got some more labs. Yeah, we're gonna try and not move much of this, but I think we are gonna be sad about how all that works. Actually, I decided that I wanted this one down here, didn't I? Yeah, and then if we can have more gears, we're gonna want some belt. We're gonna want some coils. Get all this stuff fed. we may as well get some chips here as well. And then if we can have you guys kicking gears out onto a belt, we can begin with the automation of not having to do this. Yeah, automating as much of this stuff as we can early on so we don't have to worry about it is going to be nice. And then we're also going to need a couple more boxes. We've got the lab here, and then yeah, can we spaghetti together the rest of the base in such a way that we don't have to move these labs much? Is going to be a question. These things immediately need to move, don't they? Because we wanted to put boxes in here so we could have more than... Actually, these guys probably should be going into boxes as well at the same time. Whatever. Okay, we're going to have more... Yeah, we're going to do that. We're just going to keep that going. Should we extend the power plant when we go and visit it? We probably should, which means that one of these guys should probably go to pipes, and then we should probably just go like another 6 of these. We are handcrafting some pipes, but we're going to pick up more pipes when we get the electric engines. I think we need to refeed... Yeah, do we have enough at this stage just to do half stacks of all of these guys? Maybe we do. Yeah, we're going to refeed these gears again. You just have all the iron. If we don't have to worry about it, that's nice. We should maybe do the rest of these inserters down here, because these guys probably not running in a super great way. Oh well. Yeah. Sure, great, fine. Everyone's getting what they need. Continue feeding these guys the gears, and then 6 for each of those. Do we have... I don't think we have enough to do full stacks on the iron yet, because we've just got more mining drills on iron. We're also nowhere near electric mining drills, so it's not worth doing the burner inserters down here. But let's just continue manufacturing stuff, because everyone likes having stuff. And yeah, I think we're going to have, I mean, a plan that is larger in scope because we have to do 60 times as much stuff, but more or less a plan that should be pretty recognizable. A lot of blue and a lot of red and green science. Trying to get to bots reasonably quickly. Can I just have all of these power poles, please? And then I think we're probably doing a fair amount of purple and yellow science on Novice before we bother leaving. Nice options that we can have because we are doing a 60 times multiplier that we may not necessarily have the option to when we are doing a 90 times, if we were doing, say, 1,000 times multiplier. I think also we're going to have to set up, I think we want, I am leaning to the conclusion that purple science is just the better of the 2 initial sciences, and that yellow, well, yeah, after bots, and that yellow kind of doesn't matter as much, because from purple we get assembler 3s, we get beacons, we also get elevated rails, which I think in this context is going to be pretty big, and yellow science just doesn't do that much immediately, which is, you know, a little bit of a disappointment for it. Yeah, I was wondering if we were going to run out of gears here because we did not put the boxes on the other side. So let's put the boxes for gear for iron plate on the other side over here so that we can give, oh, I should actually give these guys their stuff, so that we can put more iron in here and then walk away and not worry about it. I actually wanted to leave all this iron. You've also got some iron, sure. But yeah, worrying about yellow science may be a little premature. How many labs do we have running at the moment? 18? So that's relative to our 60 times multiplier. That counts as, a third of a counts as a third of an assembler on a red science, so that's super cool. Let's craft the rest of these, pump the rest of what I've got in here, and connect this up so that the less stuff I'm making by hand, the happier I am. And then, yeah, you guys are still going. Okay, I think we need. I don't think it's worth thinking about where the electric mining and smelting will go yet, but I think we're going to kick a little section out here just to have these assemblers doing the temporary stuff in a place where we don't necessarily have to worry about it being in the way later. And then am that whole thing where we're like, hey, all those materials we have, this is a good number of materials to have because we will immediately go through them. We have gone through them. Okay, I think the next thing I want to do is do a little lab extension. We're still... yeah, three labs, cool. We are still not really pushing through the electric mining drill research at any particularly desirable rate. But we should now be able to get... yeah, a couple more. Put the iron into the science, put the copper in the science, get all of this stuff done. Turn some of these to green chips. That's probably more than we wanted. Yeah, can we get all this stuff? Can we just borrow some of this iron? And 4, 5, 6, 6, yeah, enough of the rest of that stuff. Okay, we can go and build another 6 labs, which will take us up to... okay, when we've actually got all the parts built. In the meantime, we're going to go and grab these rocks, which is a thing that we said that we didn't expect to have time to do, but we will, because we're waiting for... okay, we don't have that much time to wait for the sand grafting to go through. Yeah, so we're going to be kicking off a bunch of relatively new planets, because Space Age is, it's been around for a while, but the mod scene is also still kind of new. Mods take a while to develop, so we might be stressing some of these mod planets at technology multipliers that they're not necessarily designed for, and we're going to see how that works out. We're going to have to do some quite large builds in several of these places. Yeah, where are... I dislike the way that we have arranged these inserters, but somehow we have... oh, because we changed... there's a spot where the power poles changed, so that's why all of these are sensible again. Okay. We're going to add some more of those. It's going to be fine. Yeah, so we're immediately going to quite large science builds. If we can figure out how to build the rest of the base so that we don't need to move this, I will be happier. Because also steel axe is a thing we are not close to yet. Grab these. Oh hey, here's another assembler that we can just... how much iron did we put in here? Okay, I think we can spare some of this. Yeah, so we're gonna have a bit of... what do I want to build? Is it another... yeah, some more labs and stuff. Yeah, we're going to have a bit of a marathon thing of we've got to do some very large builds to do the amount of science we want, but then we're also going to figure out some new mod planet patterns at the same time. So there's going to be quite a lot of new stuff that's kind of going by, and with all the kinds of problems that you have with marathons. We're going to have belt capacity problems, we're going to have where do we get the ore from problems. So I haven't specifically talked about the patch richness settings yet, have we? I think we did 300% patch frequency and then 200% patch size and richness, which I don't know if it works out that you just, like, in a very straightforward way, multiply all of those together, but that would suggest that we had roughly 12 times as much stuff as usual, which is not very much in comparison to the 60 times science we need to do. Do we need to... yeah, just punch all these guys in here, I guess. So we are going to need to secure more materials than usual. I think we cranked down the biter settings as much as we could while still running, but I think the biter coefficients of pollution into evolution are by default 40 and 9, and I don't really think it matters to be talking about exactly what those all mean. Critters? Yeah, critters super fine. Other than the fact that it's even setting both of those to 1, it is clear that they are, less than 60, which means that our pollution and, our biter evolution will be advancing faster than a normal default settings. I think it ends up... I actually haven't done the math. Maybe it's close to Death World. In any case, it's going to be not 1,000 times multiplier settings where the biters are behemoths before we've got blue science. We should hopefully be in a position where a lot of the tools are still relevant. We can still do a variety of interesting things. We can make all the tactical decisions we want. Hopefully... Okay, we're actually super close to electric mining drills, which means I think we should have actually thought more about where all of this stuff is going to go. And I think we want... a belt of smelting here, if we can, and then furnaces here, and then the outputs on maybe the bottom belt is the input and the top belt is the output. I think that sounds reasonable. Okay, give me all of these guys. Yeah, just immediately start crafting. Just immediately start crafting a whole bunch of electric mining drills because we're going to need them. I don't know where the coal is. Wait, is the coal even worse than the iron on this map? Because we've got these two little coal fillers. Did we say the bottom was the input one? We did. We've got these, coal fillers. We've got these two little iron filling patches below us, but what we don't have that I'm not really seeing is, oh, there's coal over here. 17 million coal. So we're going to need this iron immediately, we're going to need this iron immediately, we're kind of set up to immediately use that. This oiled nearby is also pretty nice. Okay, we did get the double coal patch, and this one, I do remember saying this one was going into the power grid, and then later we've got this 17 million coal patch. This is still... which one was the... Yeah, this bottom one was the input one. Is still going to be a little bit of a problem, and I think what we actually do... I think we just lean... Why did we not utilize... Okay, we did in fact... It was somewhat accidental, but I had a moment of why did we not better utilize the power poles that went through the middle, and the answer is we kind of did. Okay, so that is going to be a coal sushi. I don't want to overfeed these because we're now just putting coal on the same belt again, which isn't great, but I think a cheeky thing we can do, and okay, no, the way we've set this up, this needs to be on the other side, doesn't it? A lot of this is going to be about cheeky things, in case you were concerned. And if you thought if we had a plan, we kind of have a plan, but we're also kind of just mashing a bunch of stuff together. Yeah, we have... Hey, here's some iron automation that can just straight up get into the science, which is, automation. That's what we're here for. We now have automated iron into science. We do not have automated coal into power grid, which is kind of a bit of a big deal. All these guys are going to get half stacks because I don't feel like managing it, and we've got enough of that floating around to be fine. And yeah, you have this as well. Okay, so the plan for this side, and I was hoping that we would keep this area mostly free, although what we're actually doing is already compressing the spaghetti more than we would like. Yeah, you guys get in there. You make me things that I would enjoy. I want all this stuff to be able to get more inserters as well, which we don't have yet because That was kind of the thing we were waiting for. Oh well, yeah, we're already a little space congested here in a way that is going to make me pretty sad when we try and automate the other things in that this area is going to need. But I did at least come up with, I say this like, this was a while ago, this was like literally just now, a plan for managing the coal sushi that's going to be on this belt of, we're just going to get, actually how many is this 24? 22. Okay, let's go 3, 4, and that is a full half lane of smelting, which is, you know, nice milestone. What we're going to do instead is realize that we don't have the other electric mining drills for this, but that's fine. We're going to go here. We're going to go use filters for coal. And we're not going to worry about what all these other things are yet. Yeah, there's more stuff to mine. There's the space age stuff we recognize, the space new stuff that we don't recognize. We're just going to go filters for coal. Is that true? I think if we're getting the coal in the way that we are, then can we just go up to a full half lane? Maybe. And then I think we bring it... How? Like... I think it actually needs to go further, doesn't it? If we are going to enact the plan that we have, which is to have these guys filtering for coal into 2 boxes, because we're going to need to... What did I filter for coal there? Into 2 long-handed inserters, which can pull out this material onto this belt, which then lane merges like so, and then we can also these other, and I guess we can drop the coal that I have in, actually all of it in here, why not? And then we can drop more mining drills over here, and we did kind of work towards this with this kind of plan, tack this on here, and now we have let's put another one of these guys here just to try and pull the coal off. So that is gross, and I feel kind of bad, and deal with it. It's going to be fine. It's automation. How do we get this? I guess the way we get this out, because we would like to be able to use this for other mall stuff. Let's change our mind on these again, because that's a cool thing to do. And then did we have more than... We did have more than 24. Which is a little bit of a shame, because it means we need all 3 of these. Yeah, what I was talking myself into is having a splitter here for which we don't have logistics yet. So, don't worry about that, I guess. We'll come back to that later. Give me all of this coal, half stack feeding in here. And let's see if we can get... Yeah, we need a bunch more iron. The thing I want to do next is fully automate the power grid, which I think is going to mean... Do we have pipes? We don't have gears. These guys have gears on the belt. These guys have gears. Keep running those gears, and we want 12. I think 12 is the number we want. And then also just another 10 of those, whatever. You guys keep running. I am thinking about putting a mall here that just goes gears, belt, pipes, bullets are things we are eventually going to need. And then these are all going to be filling up, aren't they? Oh well. Problems we'll solve when we'll get logistics. Don't worry about it yet. It's fine. Yeah. Things we can solve when we have logistics and we get some splitters to do some of that stuff. But for now, yeah, it is definitely time to go and put more steam in this power grid. We are about to crash. Everyone still has steam. Everyone is still running. And our timing was within seconds, which is not what I was expecting, not necessarily what I'm happy with, but we'll take it. We did, in fact, not crash out of the power grid, which is nice. This 50 iron, I guess, is getting all the way in here as well. We did extend the starting area, but we did also boost pollution dispersion, and we also reduced the attack costs. So we should have a little while before we really have to deal with any significant amount of fighting. This would be a really good place to bring the belt in, except we also don't have logistics yet, so we can't go under the pipe. Oh well, so I guess we're just going to run it under here. It's going to be fine. The coal is just over here. But yeah, maybe we should check in with the map about what the cloud is like, and it's already a little bit of a concern. I'm sure it'll be fine. I'm sure there won't be any real problems, and you know, we've automated coal into the grid. Isn't that a thing that everyone likes? Let's move the coal miners that are more likely to run out to a position that are less likely to run out, because we're going to be here for a while. How are you? The thing I also have no idea about is whether those two coal miners on the outside are going to be collecting enough coal. You guys all full. We have managed this badly. Okay, never mind. Yeah, I think we probably want... I mean, we definitely just want more mining in many places, but I think we want more coal on the outside to make sure that these guys are getting everything that they want. Yeah, and then I think I'm talking myself into a setup here that goes regular maul gears, regular maul belts, regular maul pipes, kind of normal-ish bullets, and then if we can put iron on this belt, we're going to be in a good place. And then I think we do, because I haven't thought about where the copper smelting is going yet, and the copper is kind of on the opposite side of the patch, and it looks like we're going to be pushing more undergrounds through there as well. Never mind. Yeah, more of these guys say here, and we can do this weird little pattern that I've sometimes been using that goes chips here, box like so, and then a pile more underground. Yeah, pile more underground things? A pile more long-handed inserters is what I wanted. Okay. We are nearly done with the logistics, which means had we paid attention more to exactly when these techs were dropping, we could have done this a little bit better. But now we can have, yeah, split a couple of undergrounds. You grab from this belt that will eventually be iron and put stuff in the boxes. I guess don't worry about limiting those things yet. It's probably fine. We're doing military next. We do not have eyes on where any of the biters are. We also did not look at the map preview. That's a thing that I like to do. Let's just keep converting these guys into... also, maybe we should limit these boxes. We don't necessarily want all this stuff. Belt we are going to want a large amount of. We are going to need to go to a lot of different places. And yeah, let's do this plan that we talked about, where we get rid of this assembler. And we have a splitter here, and some of this iron goes into the science, and the rest of it just wanders into this mall. So now we have a mall thing organized. We've got a lot of green chips. Oh well. Did we automate some? I think we've got to automate some copper next. Do we automate more iron? Maybe we just want. Also, if this is where our labs are long-term, we're going to have something that looks like this, which I don't like, because it's now getting in the way of where we're trying to mine. So that's super cool and a problem. I guess we'll just deal with that later. Oh well. Yeah, we can work around that. It'll be fine. Keep these guys topped up. Everyone here is working happily. I guess we go and build another lane of mining, I guess. For which, yeah, let's We're not even fully mining all of this. Should we have this? That's what we should be doing. Steel should be close in the queue, but also all of those things are huge and a long way away. We would like to have some amount of steel over here just to get steel axe in, but we also haven't got the research done for that. Never mind, it's set up. We have steel for when that happens. Don't worry about it. It's cool. Let's get more iron mining in here. That's fine. Grid is also still fine. I am now wondering if we're going to get surprised by biters at some point. That's the thing that could happen. Let's get more coal in that direction as well. Should we... I think at this point, especially as we are saying that pollution is some kind of... I mean, pollution isn't really a thing we're worrying about, is it? We're going to be making so much of it that it's not actually a big deal. But let's try and pretend that we have cut down on the amount of like pollution and mining and bad stuff like that we're doing by getting rid of all of this Burner City stuff. Is it time to feed? Maybe it is time to do full stacks into all of these burners. Oh well, whatever. How many assemblers did we actually put on science? 28? That's another 6. Let's get another 6 assemblers. Let's also just keep scaling this. Nothing bad happens when you just continue to scale Factorio, does it? Oh, actually, the thing we did want to do is we don't have enough gears coming out of there, so we need to top it up with these gears, which is fine, because we'll still just accumulate gears in these 2 boxes. It's going to be great, don't worry about it. Let's try and not mix this one. But this is also just, yeah. Okay, so now we are mixed with copper as well. The next mining we are doing is going to be mixed iron and copper. Yeah, let's just keep making... I think if in doubt, we're just going to keep making mining drills because we do need to just be growing. I do kind of want to go for a walk to figure out... Yeah, we're going to be... I think if we start here, but then we also need to figure out... I guess we can mine this copper with some coal from here. So if we go... copper on the right-hand side, and then also coal on the right-hand side... Then we can throw in a couple more miners here like so, and generally feel bad about this whole thing, but then have a lane here that we can convert it. Because the thing I'm thinking about is if we have another lane going in and some furnaces generally around, then the lane that's coming out, which would be here, could just skip under here and do that, which is actually pretty solid. I'm enjoying that a lot because it means that these guys will continue to top up this buffer as we work through it, which is super nice. Okay, weapons times copper. We were just somewhat near copper. I don't think we need 2 of these drills there now. Okay, great. So we're getting a shotgun. Shotguns are very exciting. I've got more labs that I also definitely wanted to add. And also more assemblers on science to get through this stuff faster. And then I'm going to wonder if are we going to run into the forest? We are not quite going to run into the forest. I think 6 was the number. 6 was the number. We should also check in with the grid, and we are going to be fine, although I don't know if we had enough miners on coal, but also whatever. And then, yeah, also worry about whether or not there are biters just off screen, and also we can't really do anything about it because we also don't have... You have the coils and all that stuff. Yeah, we can't really do anything about it yet because we also don't have Radar or gun turrets, and both of those are pretty useful tools for dealing with all of this. Okay, let's figure out how this... oh yeah, we did want... Give me all of these things. Yeah, that's kind of the scale of stuff we want to be playing with at this point. We will just want to be banging out entire grids of... Is this gonna work? Yeah, just entire petrochem grid, yeah, entire power grids as soon as we can. Oh wait, this is not going to work because this iron is going to be a lower priority than the other iron. So we need, I mean, the thing we need is just more iron smelting at this point. So I think the gap here is going to be useful because we can go left, there, and then take this down the river, as it were. Are we going to call it a river? Are any of these are not mixed copper and coal. These are just mixed copper iron. So that's not really what I wanted to be doing, but it is, as it turns out, what we're going to be doing. And then this belt I had convinced myself was going to add more iron somewhere else or something. Okay, let's put these up the other end. Okay, we have... Oh no, wait, we have completely ballsed this up. Yeah, we were going to do this with inserters, weren't we? Okay, we are going to do it like so that the copper is on the inside, and then any other copper that comes off here, we can also just sideload here, although I don't think we're going to have enough furnaces to really worry about that. We've got gun turrets, and we're also processing all the iron. That is a thing that I'm not unhappy about. Let's limit the number of these guys, the number of... why don't we have... Okay, we're going to move all of this again, deciding that we need gears for this stuff. Yeah, we're going to limit the number of chips that we want to put in those boxes, because we want a lot, but we don't want all that many. And then you guys just have all the stuff you want. I need more... I mean, to be honest, needing more gears, not a huge surprise when we're trying to grow at the rate that we are. I just wanted more guns in my queue, and then what I actually wanted was a pile more inserters to set up the rest of that copper smelting. At what point do we shut down Burner City? Because we're apparently still trying to run this. 23 mining drills is a good number of mining drills to put on the copper, I think. Yeah, we're getting some copper through here, but it's not an amount of copper that makes me happy. Give me these things. I actually did want some of that copper after all, didn't I? I wanted a bit of this copper so that I could just get more... All 10? All 10, why not? Okay, then... Yeah, whatever. Okay, let's go and extend the power grid because we can. Extend all these things. We have one splitter, which is not a number of splitters that brings joy. But whatever. That lined up surprisingly well. This is also... I mean, we also don't have the number of... Like, we don't have enough grid to really justify having... I kind of want this down here. I want 2 lines next to each other so that we can add more stuff later. Yeah, I was wondering whether or not we would need some underground pipes to really make this work. And, yeah, whatever. We're just going to hack in some underground pipes in this assembly here, because I don't feel like reorganizing my crafting queue. That's probably enough. Okay, we've still got pipes, we've got boilers. This is way more power grid than we need, but not having to extend it later will be nice. We've also already done a steel build. I think one of the... Yeah, one of the things that occasionally happens when people do like 1,000 times multiplier runs and stuff like that is sometimes you just wander away and let the base turn over, and I think, or at least the hope is, that we have got the settings in a position where we never need to do that, where there's just always going to be a whole pile of stuff that will be valuable for us to do, and one of those being at this point, let's just have a whole lot more power grid than we need. It's going to be fine. We're definitely going to find a use for it sooner or later. Let's also do these inserters before we wander away from it. We can also do, yeah, we could add, if we wanted to, a pile. Yeah, we can actually, we need more splitters to extend it in this direction, don't we? But also it's fine, we're not going to worry about that. Should we worry about... Yeah, maybe we should. Getting attacked from other directions here. We've still got more power grid to add. We've got more offshore pumps. I do like having a backup number of offshore pumps. All of this copper is backed up in a way that does not feel great because coal. Oh no, because iron. Which is the other thing we suspected would happen, because we brought this other lane of iron down here that we were going to smelt somewhere and then didn't. Do we just... Why would we not just go, here's some more... Yeah, we can make this so much worse. We can go, actually it's going to be exactly this setting, and make that splitter exist, and then you come down here and we can have mixed belts of... Okay, kind of split lanes. Mixed belts sounds worse than this really is. This is going to be split lanes of iron and copper. We're going to have copper on one side, iron on the other side. This means we're going to need more splitters. Let's get some more undergrounds in here as well, because we are going to want to be able to separate the iron in some places and the copper in other places. That gap there worked out pretty well. Nice use of power poles, because over here we do not want... Yeah, we need to be separating off the iron onto the left-hand side and then figuring out how to combine that with the other stuff. So I think actually we go copy this, put it back here. All the stuff got in the way, it's fine. Move this guy over, and we have integrated it. And also, this other belt of stuff is actually the side that these two will prioritize, which is fun. We like that. Okay, keep these guys going. Got me some gun turrets, got me some bullets. These guys have run out, but we also have 1,000 ships, so it kind of doesn't matter. The steel, this is the third time we have fueled the mini steel build before having steel unlocked. Cool, great. And then we just want, yeah, we want... I think the thing that it's time for is we should be going into, or at least thinking about, how to do an inserters and a belt build. Yeah, my handcrafting queue is pretty disagreeable at the moment, never mind. Yeah, figuring out how to do an inserters and belt build that might eventually lead into a green science, but I think if we're going to do that, we need to turn some amount of this into an actual mall pattern. Because the further we go down this garbage nonsense sushi road, of which this is a road I have travelled several times, of which I am reasonably familiar, I would like some of this stuff to be in boxes. So we're just going to have boxes in places where we can pick up coal. Yeah, cool. Yeah, the longer this stays garbage sushi, the more untenable it is going to be to extend this thing in nice ways later, and we would still like some of that. Inventory compression, get all these guys in here. Are we... All of these guys should be running. I think it's just that steel is a fast tech. Working. Materials at the end of the belt. All of that looks pretty good. Okay. I guess the thing I really want to do is figure out where the rest of the iron is, because this is not enough iron to make me happy. We've got... Do we also need... Here we need more gears, and then we want... Okay, so something like this could always have been a situation. Can we... We can kludge this. I can put a kludge in here that's going to do a thing. If we have... Yeah, it's the top half of the belt that does not... nope, not like that. Not like that either. Cool. Yeah, reverse this guy. Okay, we've restored that mess, that's great. The other underground exists where it does, so that we can have a long-handed inserter here that can specifically look for coal. So if we find any coal on the top half of this belt, this is not going to work, is it? We need this inserter to be grabbing from both locations. Gross. It needs to be taking from this location, otherwise we never get the new things over here, but it also needs to be taking this from this location so that we can take the iron from here if there's only ever coal here. Okay, that is disgusting, but will at least work, which is... that's kind of... I'll take that. That's pretty much how we are. Okay, if we're going into a regular mall-looking thing... then something we're going to need is a lot of drills, but then also a lot of assemblers. So, yeah, give me the rest of these. Those hundreds of chips that I said was nice to have sitting around have just kind of disappeared. This is all flowing and is unblocked in a way that makes me want to... Yeah, can we go... If we move this guy back, we can make this worse by adding some more iron mining through here. Why don't I have materials? Oh well. And poking this iron through here in a way that is the lower priority than the sushi, so the sushi doesn't back up, but then also supports this other branch of iron over here. And I think we can also do more than that again. Okay, you guys just go over there. Just fill that line up. It's going to be fine. And then over here we're going to go similar thing, but we are on the wrong side. So, inserters. What are you looking at me like that for? This is how builds happen, yeah? Oh, hey guys. Oh, I've still got my pistol up. And I need to transfer to the shotgun, and then line all these guys up, and then shoot them with the shotgun. That's how you use the shotgun. You don't aim the shotgun at the biters, you aim the shotgun in the direction you want to shoot it, and then move so that the biters are where you need them to be, relative to the shotgun. Okay, so this is a good indication to set up the combat toolbar. We're going to want grenades eventually, gun turrets. Yeah, there's a couple of new turrets in here as well. We're going to have a bunch of things to play with in a variety of locations. We've also, there's an advanced repair device somewhere. Great. Let's also have the car on this hotbar, and let's put the landmines in the walls as if we're going to get anywhere near that anytime soon. And think about where we're going to defend things, but I think that also means we need to think about where we would be putting a mall and stuff like that. And maybe the mall thing does go in here. I think we put a small... We've already kind of got this mall in here. Maybe we'd attempt to have a small mall thing in here if we can get this up to... What is this? 20 furnaces? That's nearly half a lane of copper, so maybe we're okay with that. In which case I think we probably are happy just slapping in some not very good but sufficient for now little turrets that are just going to do a thing. It's going to be fine, don't worry about it. Yeah, can we get... So here's the iron. If we had copper coming out, I mean, we could also have... I think it's time to get rid of these guys. I think the first 50 or so gun turrets, yeah, 30, whatever, are going to be everything we need for a while. I think if we had this thing saying left, left, and then now we've got a belt here of copper. And then I am disliking where we've put the steel, but I think, and I'm also disliking where we've put these two, because it's going to be difficult to get. I mean, I say it's going to be difficult to get, we may have just done it, this stuff out again. But I'm also trying to think about where we put more copper, and I don't think we do, or at least we have two belts here, so we can have more coils into chips on this side. With two belts here that will allow us to tag in another belt here from some other spaghetti mess down here, I don't know. Why are we... Oh, coal, because we are moving the coal over here, but also only at the rate of one inserter. So steel is now running, which is nice. Other things we're going to need... Yeah, let's get the radar, let's get... There's a bunch of useful stuff in there. Damage immediately going to be helpful. Yeah, we need to be unblocking this coal as well, and I think the way we unblock that coal is we wander in this direction, which is also in the direction of the other iron, which is nice, and we start making... Is there another line through here through which we can have another underground belt of stuff? There kind of isn't. We've kind of blocked that up, which means we need to go around the iron the other way, which is fine because we have also talked about how belt delay is not really a problem in this situation. So this was a topping up the iron, that's fine. This is going to be left into one of these builds, but then also we can have... I think we're going to attempt to do normal looking furnace lanes in here, but also maybe it's too late to be really trying to do that. Power this on. Okay, so this is now running, because we'd really like this one to be iron, I think. I think we're, at this point, the thing we are looking for in this expansion is how can we get more stuff out generally, starting with a pretty normal looking iron mall. Let's keep handcrafting some things. Cool, great. And so the next thing we're going to need here is probably iron, which has the downside that I guess we're going to the patch down here. But then the follow-up question is, like, we don't have enough metal on the map to just be able to build over everything. So how are we getting the rest of this iron out? I don't know. We're gonna worry about... Yeah, we're gonna worry about that later. We are going to have something that looks like... Because I would also like to get these in so that we can think about how far we would need to go and whether it fits before we hit the other iron patch, and it does not, never mind. We're just going to go as far as we can, it's going to be fine, don't worry about it. I'm just going to go to here. See, the output belt is fine, did not crash into anything else at all. Let's set up for 3 belts of processing here, I guess. What did we just... Did we just research? We just researched steel axe. That's going to be the thing that would have been slow enough to take the amount of time that we were actually looking at. Okay, so we're going to set up for 3 lanes of something here. I haven't decided what yet. Probably at least 2 iron and 1 copper, and we can start buffering all that copper, well, all the coal as well. It's going to be nice. And then the main reason to do that was to think about, yeah, where the power and belts would go. How many? 4? 4 is not a number of mining drills that we can do this with. We will need more mining drills than that. I think it's also time to just say goodbye to the burner miners, although the furnaces with the furnaces that are out of fuel say they have ore in them that they need to smelt. The burner miners being out is the situation that we are fine with. Also, yeah, we're probably not going to need... Maybe we don't need that many? Anyway, grab all this coal. All this coal is going to be helpful. Get a couple more guns, Yeah, we're never going to be... We are going to continue to be in a position where we want more shotgun shells, because we're going to need a lot more shotgun shells. We already know there's one base attacking us. Expansions are turned down, but also still on. So... oh, that's also the reason why all this is stopped. Yeah, cool. Okay. Yeah, that's right, because I was thinking about having another belt of iron that somehow arrived in here, which then could somehow, and I guess it's doing some nasty garbage, get in here, and I guess we put it on the inside and we put the chips on the outside, so that's a plan that we can expand into in this space, making everything a disastrous sushi mess. Yeah, we wanted... That's right, that's why we were going back. We wanted a whole lot more... We wanted gun turrets and stuff like that as well, but whatever. The thing we wanted was a pile of mining drills to go and put on the iron. Even though we don't really have... I mean, we've put a variety of things in silly places, and that is probably going to continue to happen. And then probably even when we get to the situation of being... yeah, we are not free of the silly places, are we? All of this is in the wrong place. Does that mean this one should be a steel belt if it was already in the wrong place? I think we are going to need... I think we're going to very quickly need more than a fraction of a belt of copper, especially if we want to be able to expand in roughly the rate that we want to. And we should actually, yeah, figuring out where all of this stuff goes is the silly thing to be doing at the moment. We're kind of tolerating having extra coal arrive from the nasty sushi that we set up that is also definitely not going to work, and we're going to need to worry about that more later. But I think this belt is one we can use for more iron. And then the smelt lane above this we can use for copper because it's kind of right next to the patch. That's what the plan was there. We are going to just run this power line in a redundant way into the bottom of this grid because I like redundancy. Did we get radar? We did not get radar. That's fine. Okay. I have played enough Death Worlds to somewhat care about having multiple power connections to the various bits of the base, because things can and will go wrong, and with things going wrong, it's just generally better and cleaner to go, yeah, I expected all that to explode, here's my backup plan for when those things exploded, rather than to be surprised and disappointed by things. That said, we've only got gun turrets in one position at the moment. We're going to have to do something better about that. There's still decent tree cover around these patches as well, which is nice. And we've got 34 mining drills. We can have a full lane of iron smelting if we want to. Connect all this stuff up. Where's that going? Whatever. Okay, get this stuff moving back to the base. Would be really nice to have, you know, radars to scan out the rest of what's going on in this area. And yeah, I think the thing we've got to do, we've got to scale up the iron and copper significantly. I think we've got to work on not Q that, Q this. Is this nearly 30, 24? Yeah, let's add some more. We have the splitters to do this at this point in the run. Merge these guys in like so. Yeah, I think we want a mall for inserters and mining drills and things like that. We want to be able to expand with some degree of colonial horror. which is also why we are crafting shotgun shells and gun turrets. Let's have this one go input priority from the middle, and then this one also have input priority also from the middle, because the middle is going to be where it's richest. Probably not going to be a huge deal, but I think we are... Yeah, because of the number of different planets we have to go to, and because we are also solving new mod planet problems at a number of these planets, I think we are going to want to connect a lot more resources to Novice with trains, and I'm thinking elevated rails, before we leave and try and do other planet stuff. So, this iron can go around the outside and back in there, I think is fine. And then I think this copper can also go around the back and also inside there, which is also a disaster, but whatever. And then we limited the stone furnace box. Maybe we should not have, but I'm pretty sure there were many. Yeah, there we go. Okay, we have steel X. We could tear this down. I'm not actually going to. What we're just going to do is make sure that the furnaces that have ore continue to have fuel. It's fine. We're probably going to have to tear them down at some point. And then these guys are all... Yeah, okay, cool, great. Let's just continue to craft. When in doubt, craft power grid. I believe that was... Yeah, I think we're going to have to go and find somewhere on the map with enough coal to have that make sense, because we just dropped a lot of that into the queue. And if we are at this point in... If we're at the point of thinking about how we're going to build a mall of... Yeah, if we're thinking about how we're going to build a mall of inserters and belts and undergrounds and things like that, that sounds a lot to me like we are moving into a position where a whole lot of belt or a whole lot of labs will be a good way to extend the red and green science that we have not yet researched. 4,500 research, 1,800 research. Those are going to come next somehow. Probably. Really? Running out of belt? Yeah, we got a lot of plates in the inventory that we don't necessarily need. That's probably going to be enough belt for a while. And yeah, this can continue down all the way down. 19. We need another 5 of these. The coal buffer situation is also kind of tenuous. I'm aware that we are mining coal as a sushi and then prioritizing it into these belts, but we also currently have no coal buffer anywhere, which means if we're mining too much coal, then everything just jams up because we've got too much coal, and if we're not mining enough coal, then the smelting just doesn't run in the way that it currently isn't. But we can also fix this with the coal that's in our inventory. The inventory coal was the friends we made along the way. Okay, so that's nearly a whole lane of copper which can come all the way around. This was also going to be a whole lane of copper? I think we're going to do a whole lane of... Okay, other than the fact that the furnaces don't fit, I think we're going to think about this in terms of a whole lane of copper, because we're going to have whole lane of copper things to do with it as soon as we get into the kind of green science that's going to match the scale of the kind of red science we've already built. And then we have to figure out, and I've kind of got a plan for this. I've done some... I think if we just delete the first lab, here and here, and then whatever, then, yeah, and if we extend the other labs... Wait, are we... 3, output speed 5. We are actually lab limited on the science at the moment, which, especially as I have all of these in my inventory, I think means that, yeah, we're just build the rest of these labs, because okay, let's also do the poles sensibly at this point. I don't know if we want... We definitely want 3 in a row later. I don't know if we want 3 per assembler now. But also, if we've got all of these in our inventory, how far does this go? How much research do we need to do? Was this a good idea? Yeah, we get a couple more of those in the queue, whatever. Here and here might make building all of this a bit easier, because now we can just go with... Oh no, wait, it did not. Because we were off with the poles? Sure. Yeah, if we are lab blocked on some of these slow techs, then getting these other labs in is going to help. More of these go here. And then I think later if we delete this row of labs, then we can put a belt in here, which is also the right distance to get another 3, to go long-handed inserters into the other subsequent lab rows, and then that belt of stuff we're bringing in can also be where the green science goes. So reasonably happy with this plan if we could just not be lab limited as much. And we need another 13 labs. But I think that this is a 30-second tick. I think it actually is 1 to 3, isn't it? I think those other 13 labs would actually be correct ratio. Okay. And this is also really the point where I want all those other intermediates set up. I want to be turning all of the iron in these furnaces into helpful things like drills and inserters. I want to just be able to go somewhere and pick up 400. Did we? Oh wow, yeah. Cool, sure, whatever. Don't worry about it, it'll be fine. We'll definitely find something to do with that steel later. We're going to keep enough for heavy armor. That's actually more than we need for heavy armor, isn't it? And then... yeah, I would like to just be able to go to a mall and grab all this stuff, rather than... actually... Where can we have... Is there space in here? There is not. Unfortunate. Okay, I think we go like so. We continue to make a mess. We run this underground a bunch. That is the iron with the splitter? Yes, so this wants to go input priority left. Output priority left? Maybe? And we're just going to make a mess in here. This is going to be fine. It's always going to be a spaghetti disaster. I am going to continue to be unhappy about that, except that this is also not where this copper goes. We didn't need to do it like that at all. We can make this less of a spaghetti disaster. This copper that we were being pretty clever with, allegedly, can also just get in here? Sure. The copper that is not on this belt yet and is not boosting any production, but whatever. Then where are we? How? Sure. Give me more of these guys. Because the thing that, yeah, we need to get gears somewhere, and it looks like we're getting gears here, although we have added more gears on this belt when we upgrade this to assembler 2s than we will be able to fit. Like, we're going to need more than one belt of iron here when we upgrade these to assembler 2s, but that's kind of always the case anyway. Get all of these guys their automation. And now we have green chips here, green chips here. We actually want these ones to be the lower priority ones because they're already coming into... They're already going in boxes, which I think means we go... underground belt to filter these guys off. Actually, these ones did want to turn here. Because the thing I was thinking is... okay, that puts them on the wrong side of the belt, whatever. We're just going to loop these back underneath like a mad person. Actually, no, this does make these lower priority. We take this underground, we pop it here. We have, yeah, we have the ships we want on one side of a belt. We can also just have a... This is also the copper we want, which if we run it through like this, in a totally normal way, we can now just take a splitter of this. Wait, we don't need to do that. Are we doing another blue... Are we doing another red science? We could do another red science. Let's at least get heavy armor. We need to find some copper somewhere. And we are now adding labs for a tech that is actually really fast, and we don't need... yeah, we don't actually need the extra labs at all. Do you guys have the copper that I need to get heavy armor? You do. Good job. Okay. Things continue to be a mess. This is not fully running it because we were trying to... Do we actually need to... I don't think we do. I think we just run this as far as it goes. Forget about this needing copper because it doesn't, because red science for the moment is kind of covered. And then... Does this also mean that these green chips... I mean, these green chips could go through a different way, couldn't they? Actually, no, this is fantastic. We're just going to run this underground in case we want to get this copper out later, but also means that the not there here is a place where we can now have gears and all of this on the same belt at the same time. Okay, I think we're in a position to we can do cool things, because we can have a belt here, we can have a belt here, we can prioritize this into the green chips, we can then take this iron and also run it through here, and we have a setup that looks a whole lot like... doesn't matter which side of those we're on, that we've got a setup that now looks a whole lot like the regular kind of mall plan which we want, which is super cool. We've got a place that we can get more iron in later, which we can also add to this mall bus later, and we can run out of belt. Enjoying that a lot. We're going to have a lot of trees that we need to get out of the way. Yeah, I'm just going to make more belt. It's going to be fine. I'm also going to solve this by having... Okay, fine. You know what? If we're doing green science here, the whole plan is going to be to have more belt anyway, and we are going to need multiple assemblers on belt, because we are going to want a lot of green science, which we're also working our way towards now, which is exciting. Something like this, a whole bunch of stuff over here, connect this up, and we have... I think we just put the straight on a belt, and I think we just run it underground, and we do... There's not even too much stuff here to worry about getting out of the way. We've got extra... We've got the... What words am I looking for? The petrochem down the other side for when we want to extend that, and we are into the mall pattern that we always wanted and arguably don't deserve, and more inserters here. And I think I do like this pattern of having a whole lot of inserters in here, because I found that when we upgrade these, we don't get... Yeah, when we upgrade the assemblers, we seem to get inserter blocked on materials at some point, and this is a situation where we definitely do want to be having all the outputs... Yeah, we don't want to be blocked on anything in this situation. We want this to be able to just run. Fast inserters, splitters, things that we don't have yet. Look at this nice happy belt of intermediates. I actually didn't want mining drills, I wanted assemblers, because we got to make all this run. Okay, more of these guys here, like so. It's a mall. It's a place where we could put green science if we had the labs. Not the labs. we've already kind of got the labs. If we had the technology unlocked, but we... Oh yeah, that's the thing we should do. We should also definitely have these things. Splitters, one stack, everything else 6 stacks. I think we're going to go... Right, we're going to realize that I wanted a fast inserter here as well, but another place to also gather belt, probably pretty good. We need more copper at this point, and then we need all of... not that. We need all of these trees out of the way. Did we get radar? We did not get radar. Radar is next. I would like a couple of radars around because we have been attacked. We just don't know where we got attacked from, because I also kind of turned up in a weird place. I've been thinking that they were north and east, but they also kind of might not be. This also is going to be an output belt here for the green science going that way, but we are also not... Oh wait, I didn't want those there at all. Give me 3 of these back. I also wanted to do that with... Cool, let's just make all the misplays at the same time. It's fine, don't worry about it. We want mining drills. Mining drills assembler 1s. We're not even going to worry about whether or not we need... Just like grab all the things that we might like, keep producing stuff, do all of the good things that we like. Actually, this... yeah, whatever. 2 stacks of each of those, which is a super aggressive amount of materials to be pushing into all of these functions, but also whatever, we're in an aggressive mood. Yeah, because I wanted more assemblers to be able to build... cool, great. Maybe I need to get rid of this copper in my inventory. I think we're probably still not making enough. Yeah, we're probably still not making enough. Okay, I take that back. We have a large number of these things, and the problem is just that we are not putting the things in the right places because the entire design is, you know, whatever this is doing. Oh wait, we've already got... We just put the copper mining down there, and the copper arrives in the base. All of the plumbing is done. We planned a thing, we just didn't build it. So I think we're just going to start here because it's kind of gross, but the other one is mixed, and this isn't, so that's nice. Oh cool, running out of belt. Great, enjoying that a lot. Okay, while we're waiting for that build to happen, let's figure out where the other... I don't really want to deal with this being mixed with stone at the moment, so that's going to determine how far we go with a thing. And maybe we never fix that. Maybe we never get around to addressing that coal that's overlapping with the stone, but whatever. Yeah, we need to build more power grid somewhere. This is the coal thing that I talked about, which we've just added a chunk of copper processing to. So I think we're also just going to go... let's just have a bit more coal. The coal on this line, yeah, doesn't... Wait, what? That's very silly. Did we mess that up anywhere? We need to have that splitter before... Yeah, we needed to have the splitter here before we had... not like that, and then like that. This needed to... Oh, it is side-loading. Yeah, we needed to have the splitter when it was just purely coal, so that we can, yeah, make things work. And then I think we also just go... We just manage this mixed mining as well. Amazing, cool. Input from the sushi side. Cool, great. We've got more stuff happening. We've got processing happening. Do we go and build a power plant? We already have a miner that's run out. That's pretty exciting. This is what progress looks like. All this iron having run down is wild. I guess I did want belt. And then, is it time to just go build another power plant? I think we have all the things we need to go and build another power plant. Where? Just like here? We could get some more iron out the back. I think we have... Do we have enough splitters? Yeah, we have enough splitters to make all that work. Okay. And then in the meantime, we've got a pile of assemblers turning up here with which we can do a green science build when we get around to that actually being a thing. But I think I do want... Do I want more labs? How many of these guys do we have? 34? Is 34 a number that I'm happy with right now? I don't know. We're going to go build this. Let's actually flush out. Yeah, that's a little bit of a problem. It's just... This is going to do terrible things to the handcrafting queue, but also whatever. And then these boxes filling up is also a little bit of a problem. So I think the way... Okay, yeah, can we make that worse? We can make that worse. We would need to pick up the rest of what's in this box. So, handcraft some more undergrounds to make inventory space, grab this box, and then this thing here, not there, which means it's got to sneak through here. This is fine. We're just going to eject the coal from one place and bring it through here. Totally normal things that I won't feel bad about later. And put it there. Okay, whatever. It's fine. It's not even on the screen anymore. Don't worry about it. And how many? 30? Yeah, I think we can... I would also rather not deal with this being mixed with stone. Is that true? Do I just want to start making bricks? I think that is true. I think I want to start making bricks, which also means we can... So this is going to be mixed coal and stone, of which we're going to go... double inserter here, followed by inserters here, and then let's put these ones in a kind of symmetric way so we can do something like this. And then this will allow us to go filter for stone on the left. And that's going to go towards the power plant in a sensible way, and this is going to be some dumb garbage that is the sort of dumb garbage we do all over the place. It's fine, don't worry about it, and we can have a belt of stone. We're making stone. We're cooking stone into bricks, very exciting. Could we... Yeah, we also don't have enough mining drills for this, but whatever. We're not going to have... We are not going to have... Oh, that's in the way? Okay, not there. It's going to turn here. Do we have... We kind of have inventory space. We can... Can we make that worse? If this guy goes underground here, and this one goes underground here, we can make this worse, which is fine. And then there's another spot for other coal to be arriving here, and we want to prioritize this way? No, we want to prioritize the other way. But we want this one to take as priority the middle... Actually, as long as this belt and this belt are the high priority belts, I am fine with that, because those are from the middle of the patch and will last the longest. And then I didn't want to actually cut down the rest of that forest and put more power plant there. So what we're going to do instead is slap in a splitter here, so that we need to hit An underground... Is that true? Can we hit an underground further down? Not a yellow underground. That's disappointing. Okay, so we're going to have an underground... Yeah, we need to figure out how to get an underground here, but I did also want to belt balance this, and we have figured out how to do that. Clear up the inventory a little. We still haven't seen those other biters attack us from other directions, which is a little bit of a thing, but never mind. I have run out of regular pipes, but that's also fine. And then let's figure out where more power plant can go. 8 blocks of this stuff at a time. Here and here, and then I think I still like the idea of having multiple belts through the middle, even if I'm not going to put that much grid on it, because it lets me have another belt of stuff in here later that might be petrochem, or it might be some other outpost belt that can automatically top this up and let us extend things later anyway. So that's what we're going to do. And then we've got more offshore pumps than we need so that we can pull water from it later. I think that's actually... With 2.0 and Space Age, this is massively more water than we need, isn't it? Oh well, never mind, don't even worry about it. We are going to build another power plant that we don't need yet. And while we are waiting for the other green science to arrive, and then also I think we should think about how many more labs we want to add. I think we might even be doing a thing where we straight up add like a whole new science build. Like I think we do... Really? I think we do the red and green science build that we're currently thinking about, and then we do a whole new red-green science build somewhere else, possibly even with another mall, possibly even with... I mean, it might look more sensible if we're starting a thing in... just starting in basically an entire copy of the base somewhere else, but maybe with more sensible smelting, because we weren't struggling out the first couple of lines, maybe with... probably also with the duplicated mall, maybe with a more sensible red and green arrangement. How do I not have... I thought I counted all of those. Maybe we did not count all of those. Okay, how many of these do I have? 8? I think that means I don't need to worry about the weirdly placed ones now. We're just going to do this nonsense, pretend that it's fine. They're all generating power, which means they're all connected. They're all polluting, and we don't have radars, and this is the base of... Yeah, okay. I'm talking myself into adding a bunch of gun turrets at the bottom of this thing, because we do not have... Like, this is a direction where the terrain is not very good at absorbing pollution, and we have potentially a lot of pollution going onto the map that we're kind of not thinking about, because we are deliberately building a bunch of power grid that we will lean on and then walk away from it. And then also, let's get all of this nonsense out of my inventory. Yeah, okay. We've got 33 assemblers to be going and building a science thing with. We need more drills, we need... What is this coal doing? I don't know what that coal is doing. We are not going to worry about it right now. We have, yeah, a lot more furnaces than we need. Did you guys... There was a little bit of stuff in here. At some point we're going to tear that down. I mean, it's all useful iron mining space, so maybe we definitely should be tearing that down. This is all looking pretty healthy. The steel is going. We've got space to expand this. We have, yeah, filled up these guys, which is great. And then also, you know what? I think this means we just want to crank in... okay, we're not going to do it that way around because it's silly, because hand feeding, but if we gave you 4 transport belts, so that's going to be roughly another 20 labs, of which I have not thought about. Do you need plate? You don't need plate. We're not going to worry about limiting that chest because it's limited by the amount of belt we feed, and then I guess we can think about building this green science, for which we do not yet have the technology unlocked, but never mind. A nice thing about marathons is being slightly ahead of the thing you're building, although should we have built larger? One of the old concerns about just a casual run or a Death World run or anything like that is like if you find yourself ahead in tech, then maybe you overbuilt science. If you find yourself, as we are at the moment, building things that we are still a little bit away from unlocking, then maybe we underbuilt our tech. And I think maybe what we want to do... 26? I see these guys attacking down here. Let's get some turrets. That I actually like a lot. That gives me some information as to the direction from where those guys were attacking. Yeah, what if we just did not red science over here, but what if we just put more green science over here? That would take us to 26 on one side. We could do 52. That's 52 in total. I think we're going to just smash that in and then adjust ratios later. I think we are still going to do a fully paired build thing, in the sense that we are going to spin up an entirely separate base of all of the same stuff somewhere hopefully nearby, if we can find all of the patches in the same place. Thing is, this is going to need... These two are only going to cover the first 40 of these, aren't they? So we are going to need additional both belt and mall, I haven't decided what, but belt, and then also 2 more inserters? Maybe? And we will put these with lower priority so that we can be building other things if we want. But you guys are going to need to get your stuff in there. And then I guess the belt is also doing something like that. Maybe, who knows? Anyway, green science. We've unlocked green science. Am I happy with how long this has taken? This is still kind of first episode vibes. I think we should kill some nests in the first episode as well. And other than that, that might be pretty close to first episode vibes. I think we're going to need to boost our production significantly, specifically of both kind... Oh yeah, boost our production specifically every resource except power grid. And then I think maybe we're in a somewhat happy place. We need to plug this into the labs as well. We're working on radar at the moment, which is fine. I definitely prefer having all of those poles lined up in a sensible way. These guys also want to be powered, although they are also, yeah, doing the complaining about resources thing that I said we needed to fix. We'll be able to automate some stuff in there, I'm sure it'll be fine. Give me these labs. Make us another 25 labs or whatever. Don't really care. These, we were defending here. We have done defense. Okay. Just going to add some more of these guys as well. Get some more bullets in them. Probably not many, because like, it was not a big attack group, but it also was, in a sense, a mature attack group. Like, it wasn't a bunch of biters making their first attacks get in here. And then we have a lot of long-handed inserters. Give me more of these. Let's take, how much belt do I have? Let's get the rest of this belt. And then, do we actually need to hit this spot? I think we do, but I think at this point, we try to dodge that stone. And we bring this stuff over here. And then we clip out these 2 assemblers on red science. And this also means that, yeah, now we are actually not overlapping with the iron patch, which I like. And if we get rid of these labs here and run these belts underneath and put the green science on the inside, and then we just need to replace all of these. Yeah, good reasons to have steel axe. This also means we can have more labs for... Yeah, we've got the space for the next belt of stuff, which I would be tempted to add a belt for now, except I don't know which direction it's going to go, so I don't know that we're going to bother. But we've got green and red science, things we are pretty happy about. Yeah, putting all the red science on the belt and then putting it in labs, I think is a plan that I like, because it means we can just take the belt of... not those ones want to stay. We can just take the belt of science somewhere else later if we want to tack more labs on the end. And then, yeah, if we are managing lab speed, or if we are extending the number of labs we have because we're getting to slower techs or any of that kind of stuff, or just buffering more science on the belt. We put gun turrets there, it's probably fine, I'm going to ignore it. Yeah, I think this is... I am happy with how that transition has worked out. And do we have more labs? We have quite a few more labs. Okay. If we have more labs, then we're just going to immediately go into another line of more labs. And I think this means that... yeah, I think with the green science here as well, we just go Assembler 2's finish off radar military 2, and we will have the grenades that we kind of don't need because it's not really a death world, but it will be useful. Bullet damage would actually at this point be the thing that would be making it easier to push nests, although grenades might also still be just the easier thing to do. But if we can get a bunch of Assembler 2 upgrades in place this episode, I will also be pretty happy. Let's get one more. We cannot get one more lab because gears. Here happens to be a place where a bunch of gears are, and we can get one more lab. I like that just for the symmetry of this having this like so. And we also don't need to worry about... is that fully built? Everyone's got their inserters? Why does this look weird to me? Whatever. Yeah, we don't need to worry about these sections of labs having less stuff because the science can just move down the belt. We could also, if we wanted to, increase the amount of red science that was going onto that belt. Okay, I've got some copper. I picked up some red science somewhere. All of that's just going fine. Grid should be fine. Grid is fine. Give me bullets. I've got gun turrets. I don't have fish. I have coal that I wasn't necessarily planning on doing anything with, so just get in the box because this is going to take ages, and we have a whole lot of coal there. We've got another line where we can put more iron. We've kind of prepared a place to put more iron smelting, except that where are we getting the mining from? Are we getting the mining from here? What are you doing? And how are we getting you out? I think what we're doing is... yeah, pull this back. Splitter here, because if we set it back here, it would block the mine. You can't mine into half a splitter. Pull this out like so. Left, left. So now, how many drills do we have here? 22? That's still not a full belt, so we should be able to pull this full belt of iron out, which means that with a couple of miners down here, and these would be the lowest priority miners because they're kind of the empty patch. We could just run this straight through. I'm not even concerned about this. Okay, output here, more iron going in here. Oh, we haven't actually, if we'd set up the rest of the smelting. Okay, maybe we set up the rest of the smelting. I was talking myself into, hey, if we could, this is a thing we could go and do before fighting those biters. That was exactly the wrong way to handle that. This did not result in fewer entities to pick up. Cool, good job. Yeah, I think we tap in this extra iron line, and this extra iron line is going to go in here. You are going to go underground from here to here. And then we need to take this to the front of the base, or to the front of the smelt face. Do I still have labs in my inventory? No. Oh no, we know that because we built one more lab to line up the lab construction that we liked. Okay. We have not many power poles in the scheme of things. Did I see that a whole bunch of the copper was backed up? Maybe. Okay. This is, yeah, put most of the copper in there, get some of the copper. Was that easier than just counting a number of clicks to force handcrafts of copper? Maybe, whatever. We're not going to put a splitter in there, but maybe... Yeah, let's balance the usage over the patches if we are ever in a situation of not fully using all of it. I'm planning on all of these belts to be mostly full most of the time, but if they're not, then sure, distribute the load. And we are getting a... Is this the third? Yeah, this is close to the third, even though we're not actually dealing with integer numbers of belts because we're silly and we're just planning on just building big things and having it not matter. But this is close to the third belt of iron getting into the machine, which is very exciting. Are we blocked on... Oh yeah, because we're over here. This is blocked on the coal again because we don't actually have the coal buffer, because we used to have a box here and then we stopped having a box here. So I think that means that this one is too much coal. I think that's what that means, and then probably we can have more iron mining in here. It's going to be fine. Let's grab a bunch more gears and cram a bunch of guns into the queue. We were about to go and shoot these guys anyway, so it's probably fine. They destroyed a gun turret. Congratulations. Good job. I think I do want pipes in here. I don't know if I want pipes yet, but we do have... In fact, I'm pretty sure I don't want pipes yet. But we are going to put pipes in here anyway. Like so. Limit these chests. You guys got limited, but you're full. More gears is a thing that we need. Is that because... It's because we've got extra iron over here that we're not necessarily... Yeah, we need... Oh, wait. We've got the more iron, but we didn't really have the more iron. Here we can go left, make sure the gears can get to it. Here is going to also be a thing where we want to go left. This guy can get in here. Is that true? I think we can have gears here. And in a way that I like, we can just take the iron from the other side. I like that quite a lot. Here's where this is going to go. So we could actually also, this belt iron, we could also pull from this other feed. So we do have a way of getting a third lane of iron in here later that we can use for all the belt and these other gears. So that is a thing that I like. You know what else we're going to want? That's not a place where we've got defense, but it's also not very many dudes. It's like one grenade's worth of dudes. You destroyed a piece of belt, congratulations. But let's also take this not particularly seriously, but I was just thinking, hey, maybe we should have some bullets manufacture in this part of the mall. So, bullets and bullets, long-handed inserters for these guys, this tool item, thanks. And probably we're going to be on yellow bullets for a while because we're going to be on the same tech of every kind for a while. Yeah, this is looking pretty good. I'm pretty happy with this. All of this is running. Do we have enough? We have enough gears. We also need fast inserters. Fast inserters are kind of the thing we need even before assembler 2s. We can't really upgrade any of these intermediates to assembler 2s without also having fast inserters, because we end up inserter blocked. What was I... You guys have got your stuff, you guys have got your stuff. This is all still running. All of these furnaces are mostly running other than the iron shortage. I think we're going to pull some stuff off there, but I think the thing we're going to do, and maybe that's going to be the end of the first episode. Maybe this still ends up a long first episode. Oh well. We have found additional coal. That is somewhat exciting, but not super exciting. I would rather have found additional iron. Iron is the thing we're going to be really blocked for. Oh hey, there's additional iron. So, yeah, we didn't need all of those. This is definitely all of the sorts of things we wanted in the first episode. Do you guys have any worms? You guys don't have any worms. That's a terrible decision. Bad things happen to you if you don't have any worms. Okay, I don't think we tap this iron yet, but I think we definitely will later. I would... Is that oil? I thought I saw oil next to it. We did not. Finding some iron and some copper next to each other would be great, because that would be a good place. Yeah, if we can find another collection of the starter patches that are close enough together. Yeah, this is the other copper patch, the other small one that we knew about. If we can find starter patches that are close enough together to all... To basically do a copy of the base and do another whole base, I think that would be helpful, because we still seem to be a little bit ahead of... Let's check this area as well. We know there were more attacks from the north, and they could arrive at this point kind of anywhere. Stone is not the resources that I wanted to find in these trees, but this other giant forest means we are pretty unlikely to be attacked from anywhere, to be honest, but I'm not sure that I like finding so many trees, because it would mean that we would need to be clearing trees to be able to build stuff. More little bonus iron is pretty nice. Oh yeah, that coal we knew about, that was the large coal, wasn't it? And yeah, we're just gonna blast these guys quickly, and then that's gonna be the end of the episode. Don't attack my turrets. Attack me if you want, because you're not very good at it. I've also got a shotgun. Shotguns are pretty good at shooting stationary things like nests. And yeah, I think we're going to call the first episode there. When we come back, I mean, maybe I do a little bit of scouting, but probably not. Maybe we leave it until automation finishes, and so we can pick up the next episode going directly into standing in the slime and then upgrading a bunch of assemblers. Yeah, it's gonna take a while. We've got a 60 times multiply. We've got a lot of planets to go to. We are just getting red and green science online in the quite long first episode. Good times.